So this is the second part of proving that this woman in Mark and in Matthew, or Matthew chapter 15 verses 21 and 22, is not a so-called white woman or Edomite woman. She's an African woman, okay? Go ahead, Jeremiah, read that.
St. Matthew chapter 15 verses 21 and 22.
Right, go ahead.
Then Jesus went thence and departed into the coast of Tyre and Zidon.
Right. Now, once again, Tyre and Zidon are two cities that are the part of the Roman province of Syria. And I'll be showing you maps on that later. Go ahead.
And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast.
Now, it says the woman of Canaan. Now, when you go to Mark, okay, chapter 7 and verse 24, it says the woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician. But Matthew says, it just says straight up, a woman of Canaan, meaning she was a Canaanite. Now, the Canaanites are the South Africans, okay, today, okay, so-called Africans or Hamites, okay. Noah, after the flood, he had 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Okay, when you go to Genesis chapter 10, it tells you that Canaan was a son of Ham. Okay? Canaan was a son of Ham. Okay, it says, read that verse 22 again.
And behold, a woman of Canaan.
It said, behold, a woman of Canaan. She was a Canaanite, a South African, an African woman. Okay, go ahead.
Came out of the same coast.
She wasn't an Edomite woman that was proclaiming to be living in the land of Canaan. Okay, she was an African woman in the land of Tyre or Phoenicia, a Canaanite woman that was a Greek, meaning she took on the customs and religious philosophy of the Greeks, and she spoke Greek. Go ahead.
And cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, that son of David,
thou son of David. So she knew that Christ came from the lineage of David. Okay, now this is a Gentile woman, okay, a non-Israelite. Go ahead.
My daughter is grievously vexed with a devil.
Right, my daughter is grievously vexed with a devil, meaning she had a demon on her. Okay, now go back to Mark chapter 7, okay. You bookmarked it, right?
Yes.
Go back to Mark chapter 7, and we go read verse 24 again.
Mark chapter 7, verse 24. And from thence he arose and went into the borders of Tyre and Zidon.
Right, Tyre and Zidon, once again, which I'll prove later, that these were two cities that were part of the Roman province of Syria. Originally, Syria in 333 BC, when Alexander the Great conquered it, okay, it was Tyre and Zidon were a part of the Greek Empire, okay. But later on, when the Romans conquered the Greeks, Tyre and Zidon became a part of the Roman Empire through the province of the Roman province of Syria, okay. So Tyre and Zidon are two cities that were part of the Roman province of Syria, which was established in approximately 65 BC by Pompey, a so-called white man, an Edomite, a Roman. Go ahead.
And entered into an house, and would have no man know it, but he could not be hid.
Now drop down to verse 26.
The woman was a Greek.
Now this one says a woman was a Greek, meaning she was a Gentile that adopted the Greek customs and religious philosophy and spoke Greek. Go ahead.
A Syrophoenician by nation.
Right, a Syrophoenician. The word Syro comes from the word Syria. Okay, and the biblical name of Syria is Aram. Okay, so the word Syro comes from Syria, and Phoenician comes from the word Phoenicia. Okay, Phoenician comes from the word Phoenicia, which the Phoenicians were Canaanites or Africans. Okay, so she was a Syro, a Syrian Canaanite by nation, which means by race. That was her race. That was her nation. That was her nationality. Okay, and remember, we have Phoenicians that dwelt in the area of Syria, because Syria was a Roman province, and at the same time you had Phoenicians that dwelled in Africa, okay, at the same time. So this was to distinguish the the Phoenicians that dwelt in Syria from the Phoenicians that dwelt in Africa. So this woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician, an African, a so-called black woman, which was an African, okay, an African woman, a Hamite by nation. Go ahead.
By nation. And she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter.
Right. So every time you see the word Greek, it don't mean Hellenized Jew. Okay, and this is just one example out of many. Every time you see the word Greek, it don't mean Hellenized Jew. The word Greek just simply means Gentiles, non-Israelites who spoke Greek and took on the customs and religion and philosophies of the Greeks. That's all it means, as opposed to other Gentiles who didn't adopt and take on the customs of the Greeks, okay, who the Romans had to fight against, okay. Now, let's go to the Strong Concordance, okay. We're going to go to the Strong Concordance, okay, James Strong, and we're going to look up the word Greek, okay. Let's look up the word Greek, because there's a difference, okay, and get the Zondervan ready. There's a difference. Now, if you look up the word Greek, okay, it says Greek, see Greeks, and it says, number 1, a native of Greece, then it says number 2, a language, then number 3, a female, and it has the woman was a Greek, a blank, then it says Mark 7:26, and we see the number 1674 right by it, okay. Now let's go to the number 1674, okay, 1674, and we're going to get that, okay. Now, this is what it says, 1674, and look at that Greek word. Pay attention to the Greek word, okay. It's Hellenis, okay. It says feminine of 1672. Then it says a Grecian, therefore non-Jewish, meaning a non-Israelite, not an Israelite, okay. Because the Grecians in the Old Testament and in Daniel, Esau, the so-called white man, was called a Grecian too. Okay, it says a Grecian, therefore non-Jewish, a woman, Jewish woman. It says Greek. So pay attention to this Greek word. This is the feminine. So when you have a woman that took upon the Greek culture and adopted the Greek ways and spoke Greek, she was called Hellenist. No matter what nationality, she was called a Hellenist. Excuse me. No matter what nationality she was, as long as she was a Gentile. Okay? Now let's go to 1672. Now, it says this 1672 is the masculine version of Hellen. Okay? This refers to men. You're going into gender, into sex. 1672 refers to a man, Hellen. And 1674, it says, is the feminine of 1672. So 1672 must mean the masculine Hellen, which must mean men. And it says, from 1671, a Hellen, Grecian, or inhabitant of Hellas, by extension, meaning later on, okay, later on in 333 BC, when Alexander the Great, the so-called white man, the Edomite, conquered most of the nations, it says a Greek-speaking person, especially a non-Jew, meaning a non-Israelite, Gentile, which is a heathen, Greek, which is a heathen or Greek that spoke Greek. Okay, a Gentile, a heathen that spoke Greek, a non-Israelite. Okay, so these words are different. Okay, these words are different from the word Hellenistis. Okay, if you can see it right there, that's a Jew, but that's a whole nother Greek word from Hellenis and Hellen. Okay, now let's go to the Zondervan right quick. Let's go to the Zondervan, okay? And we're going to look up the word Greek, okay? Let's look up the word Greek. Go ahead, read it, y'all. This is page 207 out the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, Compact Bible Dictionary. Go ahead.
Grecia is Greece, the home of the Hellenists.
It says, Grecia is Greece, the home of the Hellenes. Go ahead.
Greeks and Grecians, however, are to be distinguished.
See, it says Greeks and Grecians, however, are to be distinguished because they knew these were different types of people. Okay, they knew that. Zondervan publishers knew that. Go ahead.
Greeks are generally those of Hellenic race.
Go ahead.
But the word may be used to indicate non-Jews.
See, it said Greeks were generally of Hellenic race, but the word may be used to indicate non-Jews, meaning non-Israelites. They are not Israelites. They are not Hebrew Israelites. Go ahead.
Foreigners.
So these Greeks are not Jews, not Israelites, these Greeks are foreigners. Go ahead.
And aliens.
And aliens, meaning non-Israelites, non-Jews. So the word Greek can mean, what it means is a Gentile who spoke Greek. Okay? So with that, we're going to go to the next one.